Okay, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to some more painting. That's right, I'm way back here now. I have been very busy on the painting front since last, Monday. Obviously, we're doing this on a Tuesday. I was dead tired. I probably actually still look tired. Yesterday, and I just didn't have it in me. And to be honest, I'm super tired today also, considering I slept probably about the same amount of time. So we're more of the same, but I didn't do yesterday, so we're doing it today. But as far as what I have done, today we're going to work on this lady right here. This is the only other guy that I have left. So we've got our target finder fella. Ended up kind of reminding me of like an Italian sports car for some reason. Oh, I think that's red, white, and green, like the Alfa Romeo cars or whatever. We got a nice, tasteful pink Spartan. We've got our gravity hammer. I went with a copper visor for this. Not gonna lie, I'm struggling to come up with like color schemes for some reason, considering it's kind of just paint a bunch of random parts, random colors, and that's kind of where I've landed, to be fair. And then this one I did a little earlier. He's not done yet. I still have to hit him with a little bit of dry brushing and give him a visor color. But he's mostly done. We'll probably finish him today as well. And then obviously our one from last week. So I painted, 5 of the Spartans. But we've also got 6 of these guys in progress. So those are happening. We've got 2 more Elder Scrolls adventurers. We've got all of our Stormcloak chieftains. They're all done. And then we've got 3 of the Imperial officers. They're all done. So I painted all those over the last week or so, but I've also been printing, and I painted a metric ton of terrain. But obviously all these are having to be printed and primed and all the jazz. I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the Elder Scrolls models, and that's just what's done as of right now. I still have more stuff to print. I just figured I would take a break from printing for this guy right here, which he is obviously still in progress. This thing is glorious. You can kind of see he's somewhere around a foot long. So for like a regular sized mini next to him, he's a big old boy. And I guess for a better reference, this is his base. This is a standard like 20 or 32, I think. So he's got a big giant base. So this is going to be interesting to try to accomplish. This will easily be the biggest thing that I've printed and painted, but it should be pretty sweet. I don't have the rules for him yet. He was a milestone reward for the mini factory campaign. So we're not going to see him on the table yet, but it'll just be cool to have him as a as a set piece or something like that. But bring this back in. And today we're looking at this. So my thought was, so I don't have to try to come up with color scheme, is to go with kind of like a George kind of vibe, a little bit of a rough basis for the color parts on this. So dark red shoulders, yellow chest, green everything else. That's going to be where we're aiming for. I don't have a great yellow to base this off of, but we're going to just go ahead and slather this green all over, I think. And hopefully this won't be too long of a thing. Let's knock this out. So let's just start with the green. I'm assuming that this green is going to be kind of close. It's like a dark drab green. This is desolate brown. I feel like it's probably close, a good earthy green brown. Clearly don't use hardly ever. Still got a ball stuck somewhere. Okay, try using this brush. I do have all of the cameras. Well, I've got 3 of 4 cameras put in downstairs, but I don't have the USB cables that I need to actually get them where they need to go. So I'm not sure if we're gonna have our cameras up and running by come Thursday, but that is the hope. We will obviously just have to wait and see on that front. That is my cue to shut this door. But yes, I don't know. I need to double check. I'm not sure what exactly is going on with these cables, but technically we could have access to one, but the one that we can have access to doesn't do us any good on any normal basis. It'll be for when I'm playing with someone, so that they can also have like a normal camera instead of the weird split view that we've been doing. So hopefully that'll be somewhat sorted. This green is rather dark, but to be fair, once we hit it with a little bit of dry brushing, it kind of brightens it up a little bit, just because of the nature of dry brushing something. It gets that a little bit of like a white, almost dusting on stuff. So I'm not super worried about it. And even if it just stays the same, to be fair, it doesn't need to be perfect. This is just, we're just using his color palette kind of as a guide. Get us moving in a direction. I'd almost be curious to know if they'd ever actually release noble teams, since Halo Flashpoint is done in teams of 4, and they're kind of a team of like 6. That wouldn't exactly translate super well. And y'all should probably know by now that we start with our armor coloring. And you don't have to be super specific. We'll clean this up mainly with the black undersuit after, but we do the armor first, do a little bit of dry brushing, then we'll go back in and do our black undersuit. And the black will, in most cases, cover up well enough what any bit of mess you get to kind of underneath. So we want our chest and our shoulders to stay untouched. Everything else, that is a lot of paint. Pick it up and move it around. We don't want it to pool necessarily. You've got a little bit of working time with the speed paint, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay. Forgot to pay attention to where my box was. That was my bad. I'm gonna ignore this little shell holder, and we'll do a pass on that once we're doing the undersuit. We'll just do basically a black stripe down the middle, and then we'll just hit the rest of it with some red just to give it a little bit more something. Okay, and I think the helmet also green. Okay. Now, yellow that is on him, which I theoretically could just do yellow and then do like an umber wash over top of it, and that would probably land me where I want to go. I'm going to try mixing just a little bit of these to see if I can't get to a little bit more of a brown yellow. I want to keep a lot of that yellow. And to be fair, this color might not be tan enough or brown enough, but we are gonna find out. Because you can mix speed paints with pretty flawless results. I'm just not very good at mixing colors, to be honest. I think we want it a little darker, so we'll add another drop in here. Thought about using like Fire Drake or something that's a little bit more of a normal brown, but That might be a little too potent. This bony matter is a little bit more subdued. I think we're just going to run this color and we'll see where it gets us. So I don't want to go super dark and lose the yellow, and it's kind of hard to tell. So we're just going to send it. I don't think I really want to try to do the red on the chest. Granted, I could try to get it on this kind of collar around the front. Most everything down here is not ever going to be seen. But I just try to quickly kind of slather a little bit over it just in case I need that color tinting. Try to do that little U shape there on the chest in the red, because he does kind of have that in the game. He's got a little bit of a red detail going on his chest. And we'll take the chest down to here. And now for our red, I could just use this murder scene, but that is basically this, and that is way too dark. So I'm gonna try a 1-to-1 red and murder scene just to give it a little bit more of a burgundy hue, hopefully. All right, well, that was 2 drops, so I guess we're gonna start with 2-to-1. Which, to be fair, might be fine since this is a rather dark color. Yeah. One could argue that it could like almost be a little darker, but we're just gonna run with that, I think. Oh no, that's perfect. Almost exactly the color I was looking for. Sorry, I'm having to hold this a little closer because this brush is getting rather squirrely, so. Swap brushes actually for this little U part, and a little smaller. Granted, mess this brush up a little bit. That's a little bent. There's not exactly a hard sculpt on like the neck side of this. Just making it up as I go along. Yeah, I think that's fine. So, kind of the coloring that we're working with currently. So before we do anything else on this, we are going to let this dry a little. I'm going to do some dry brushing just to bring out some of the edges and make it look a little bit scratched and messed up, more like this. And then we'll continue on with the various different parts, but something we can do right now is put a visor on this guy, which I think he kind of wants a copper visor too. So we're just gonna plop this in. A little baby bit of this Talos bronze. Visor, because we need to dry brush him as well. We just gotta let this fella dry a little bit. Happy with the colors that we landed on though. Like we got a tiny little bit of metallic on part of that. That's fine. I think we're going gold visor on this helmet, but we'll obviously we'll deal with that shortly. I've been going occultist cloak with a lot of these weapons just because it looks a little more interesting. Even though this should be black, I'm probably still gonna go occultist cloak just because again it keeps a little bit more of that line work and definition a little more visible. So. Okay. I think we'll use this for the bulk of it and we'll swap to a smaller one when we need it. We're just going to use this game color. Dead white. Nice and rolled in. I'm specifically trying to pull into edges here. Just to catch and highlight and kind of bring out the line work without having to like specifically do a bunch of edge highlighting, which would certainly look cleaner. But again, when you got to paint 83 Spartans, I'm not trying to win any competitions. Hell, I'd probably use this color for Master Chief whenever I paint him, to be honest. It's pretty close. It's more of like a Halo 2 kind of dark OD green kind of vibe, but it's okay with me. Kind of more generally hitting the helmet just because it's just kind of gonna be down on the ground, so I'm not super worried about it. Re-up a little bit of this. I'm usually way overcautious when it comes to dry brushing anything. Little heavy on that shoulder, but balance it out a little bit. It's just given the nature of kind of how we painted this. We have to get a smaller brush. Get in there a little bit because it's yellow. Doesn't really matter that much. I think that's fine. I also gotta hit this guy with a little bit while we're here. Bit more paint. Again, especially on a black model, I'm extra cautious of going super heavy. Not that I won't intentionally do so, but I definitely don't want to accidentally do that. We're not really going to be able to get down and hit any of his chest, but that's fine because you'll probably never really even see it. A little bit of the inside of that just to bring out those leg lines. That's fine. That's good right there. Add him to the done pile. Okay, now I'm gonna black in the suit. And this is where you want to be maybe a tiny little bit more specific about where you're putting stuff. Again, I'm still a little lazy about it just because I don't want to spend 8 years when there's so many to paint. Also, kind of a benefit of once the cameras are set up downstairs, I'll be able to leave this kind of setup up here. So maybe we could do this a little more often because it'll be a little easier than having to kind of bring the whole setup upstairs from downstairs. Bit of a mess. Wipe that off. Easy peasy. That, yep, that's clean enough for government work. Drop a little bit into his, I guess now hers, knee spots. And if y'all want me to do the last one of the Spartans that I have to paint for this wave on camera, I can do that. Our other helmetless guy. Otherwise, probably just grab him in my spare time or when the motivation hits to get him done. But if you want me to do him on stream, just let me know. I can wait and we can try to do that. What's up, new? Did you get my message? You gotta buy us that game now. Better get your magical woodcutting axe ready. That's how you know that I like all you guys, because there's a new survival game out that I could be playing, and I'm here painting with you goobers. It's okay. Actually, doing this keeps me somewhat accountable for just getting this crap done. because otherwise it goes into a pile, and I'm sure any of you who paint know exactly what I'm talking about. And you'll get to it one day, and one day never comes. Ah, yeah, live for the Grey Dwarfs. Maybe this game has some Grey Dwarfs for you. Just to come out of the woods and slap you in the ass when you're trying to chop a tree or mine some more and then run back off into the woods. For those of you who don't know, we're talking about RuneScape Dragon Wilds. Came out today. I really enjoy this color scheme, actually. Considering I had to mix these colors other than the green, I didn't exactly know where we were going to land. But we landed right where I would have wanted. Also, a good rule of thumb, I think we've talked about this before, and this applies to a lot of things, and there's a reason tournaments and stuff have like a 3-color rule, just because it looks better. Part of why a certain game that only uses 2-color dies, stuff doesn't look super great or interesting. Is because 3 colors just makes things more dynamic and more interesting if you could find a set that complements each other. So, for the transmoggers and the painters of the world, you can work in a 3rd color and make your stuff look a whole lot more interesting. And that is a true story. I also know that part of this, like the slice here that I'm doing on the sides, is technically part of the armor, but I slice that off with the black just because I think it looks more interesting. It makes that top armor line a little bit more dynamic, I guess. So, that is a preference. You do not have to do that. And I was actually at my local hobby town today. I needed some paints for the dragon. And they had Spartan editions in stock, so if for whatever reason you're still looking for it or you can't find it anywhere, my local hobby town did have it. I know those are kind of all over. I'm not going to worry about the thumb on the inside of that. You'll never see it, and I could just hit it with the gray once we paint the gun. Also doesn't help that I've painted over most of my box here that I use as my visual reference to make sure I'm in frame. Probably need to make a new box. That. There. Okay, that is basically all of the undersuit. I should probably try to slice at least a ring around the neck. but I feel like doing black over yellow gonna end up a mess. But when has that overstopped me? Also, kind of in general Elder Scrolls news, but I guess more specifically just game news in general. The rumored Oblivion remake seems to be legitimate, and the rumor right now is that it's supposed to just shadow drop sometime next week, so we very well could be playing Oblivion from 2006 next week, and all of its new glorious visual fidelity, and it looks real good. So that'll be cool. I never played Oblivion. I would have been about this tall. So now we also got to slice in our little stripe here on our little shell holder. That's weird. You just have to go on to the Epic Games website and link your account or whatever. You might not have to add the launcher. We are gonna go ahead and slice in this gun. Don't ask why I'm saying slice in. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but that's where my brain goes. And it's my show. So, like I said, I've been using a cultist cloak for a lot of the guns doing this, just because it's still pretty dark, but it's got more like a blue steely kind of color to it, but you can see more of the detail, so I'm just going to keep that consistent. For the tricky part of trying to get behind this. Not necessarily with too much precision either. It's mainly just trying to catch everything that stands out, that gets white on it. But most everything should be covered in these, so should be fine. Go ahead and lock in our face. think I'm gonna do our skin tone, probably Agrex Earthshade over top of it. But we're gonna use Ruby Skin as our base color. Which you also don't know, I'm not great at painting faces or skins. It's definitely something I'm still experimenting with, big time. But we're gonna do it, and y'all are gonna love it. And if you don't, you're gonna say you love it anyways. And she's probably gonna be a boy. Also got a sick Spartan earring. This is a Age of Sigmar head, I believe. You might not know. You're gonna love it. It'll be great. What is going on this side of her head? I'm gonna go with that hair. That's the only answer that makes sense. And I know it's Age of Sigmar. It could be a number of weird things. We're just gonna cover that up, and all that's gonna be hair, I think. I'm gonna have to cut in the bottom of that with black. Does look like maybe this head would have had like some sort of neck seal on it. Hard to tell. But I think that'll do. Not real sure what's going on the left side of her head, but let's be honest, it doesn't really matter. Let's see if I can't. That line back up a little. I don't love it, but that's fine. We're going to take the same slot of red, and we're just going to hit the top and the bottom of these shells. One side should be gold. I don't care that much, so it's just going to be red. Because that is also what we did in this one. So, for consistency's sake, it's going to be red. Try not to put too much on this because I don't want to flood the little ridges, but in doing so I keep not putting enough. Even paint the thing. There we go. Nice and easy like. Theoretically, you could also dry brush the guns as part of this, but I don't do that just to differentiate specifically the armor from everything else, so the armor looks more like messed up. We can go ahead and do the gold on the visor actually while we wait for that face to dry a little. I just use Hoplite speed paint for the visors, which be careful of such things. One problem with these dropper bottles is the paint just builds up in the cap. Go. Nice little gold accent down there. That's great. Now, pretty sure I said Agrax Earthshade earlier. That doesn't make any sense. Reichland Flesh Shade. This stuff, I think, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you can kind of see that. Like, makes it a little more like orangey or something. But I'm kind of torn. I feel like it looks really good on one hand, and then it looks like kind of weird on others. So, not really sure. Part of why I just keep using it, and I keep using it in different ways or with different base coats or whatever, just to try to get it to do different things, just to kind of see. Maybe eventually I'll land on a method that I like, but try to keep it pretty light. Like in this case, she almost looks a little pale. Add a little bit more and then try to pull a little bit of this away. To be what it is, and I'll go back over some of that with just a regular flesh tone, maybe if I need. Something else I haven't tried is just using this Cadian flesh tone. I forgot I had it as its base, and then do the flesh shade over it. Might be what it's intended for, who knows. But for our regular blonde type hair, use some pallid bone. This is kind of a fine, dirty blondish kind of vibe. I swear it's almost like the side of her head's like weirdly shaved, but then it isn't because there's no ear texture. It's almost like her ears cover. I don't know what's going on inside of her head. It's Age of Sigmar stuff. I'm not gonna worry about it. I guess I could have gone with a different color, huh? Just to differentiate it from the chest piece, actually. I guess we'll see. Cover this. With a little bit of maybe it's not an earring, maybe it's a palm link. You don't know. Take the tiniest little bit of this slaughter red and just try to hit the bottom of her mouth. Okay. Wonder if it her teeth at all. I'm gonna assume not, considering I can't really see any, but there, I can kind of block back in that red. That's fine. Something for her eyeballs. We all know what a hoot those are. Well, that was terrible, but also I don't think my brush was wet enough. Unfortunate. Pull out different color of flesh just to try to trim that back in, but this is where things get a little squirrely. You think I would just cut my losses and keep the helmets on? but no. Somewhat consistent. I'm gonna put a little bit of the skin tone just around her head. Yeah, that flesh shade just makes her. It's from a distance, it looks okay, but up close, that flesh shade's just so like dirty almost. Trim that eye back in, but that at least might be a little bit more of a solid working spot. Let that dry. I trim the top. Honestly, I might just trim the top. Looking at her, it kind of works. Wait for that dry for just a second. Cover up that little white spot. Yeah, I think that's okay. My faces are just determined to forever look a little jacked up. It doesn't seem to matter in what order I do things. They just always look a little weird. I'm just going back in with that original skin tone and just putting a little bit of it around to try to soften the coloring a little. But okay, she's just a little bit of a lost cause. That's okay. Well, like that flesh shade, one, it comes through really harsh on camera, like that aggressive spot. Your eyes kind of blend that a little bit more for you. And I think from even like a 6-inch rule, I think she looks mostly fine. I cannot paint faces. I just don't understand. But I think that's close. I just don't know how you paint faces that you could photograph necessarily. Get some probably much too big, much too pupils that are bigger than they should be. I use this charcoal color, game color often. Just a black substitute. It's more of a dark gray, but who's counting? Okay. Again, the eye test, I'm happy with that. Looks a little goofy, but before I cut this head and put it on a little bit goofy. So she might have just been a little goofy looking from the get-go, let's be honest. The head angle I kind of cut weird, and then I messed up one of the only other heads I had to work with, so this was the best we were gonna get. But I think with that, she's actually done. It looks like she's got blood all in her mouth, and I think that's fine. I don't love the hair color, but I think it's okay. Kind of tempted to do like a really thin down brown something over it. But for our two, like, I think his skin color looks pretty good. But I tried to go with a, just doesn't want to focus on her. Tried to go with a different skin color. I think it's okay, but I also think his what's up, Corwin? I think, yeah, true, for real. I think his facial structure is also more complementing to like a wash than her face was. But whatever. Maybe I need to start trying to do the where you do like a black eye and then you do a white eye over it and then a black pupil, so your eyes have like a slight outline around it. That might help, but I do good to get it all in the right spot with one color. I feel like adding another color to that might be a disaster. The spot that I missed on that Schuster gun. Okay. But I'm really happy with the overall coloring of it. I think that's pretty good. I'll go back through these of the Wave 2 stuff that I painted, just in case anybody missed that. Yeah, this guy, which we did on stream last week. Got this guy, which this was also speed paint color that was mixed up for the gun. I think it kind of landed right where it needed to land. So our grab ham. And we got Pinky. And again, all of these are painted the exact same way that y'all just watched me paint that. Armor, dry brush. Actually, we are gonna tweak something real quick. We're gonna take that occultist cloak. We are gonna hit pouch, just because I like to differentiate these pouches a little. But yes, armor, dry brush, bodysuit, then typically weapons, visor, go on. And sometimes I'll go back in after the fact and dry brush just the little pouches a little, but yeah, just so it breaks up that leg just a tiny little bit. That'll be done. So this is the only guy that we have left to paint, and his face model is kind of wild. He looks frightened, or like he was from The Simpsons or something. I don't really know, but he looks kind of like a goofball. But he's the last guy that we have to paint. So if y'all want me to paint him on stream, I will wait until next Monday to do so. Otherwise, he'll probably get done just whenever. But I've also got so much other stuff. Bring this back out. We got this giant fella that I've now had 2 failures of wings, but hopefully the last wing will be done and I can start working on him. I don't even know, that's the biggest thing I've ever printed and or will have painted, but that should be an interesting experience. This giant base next to one of these models, so that should be good. But that is all I have for you today. Hopefully you found any of that useful or interesting, or at least thinks it looks even remotely decent by the end of it. We will be live tomorrow for our members, those of you who wish to watch and just kind of chat and hang out while we set up the game room for our tabletop stream on Thursday. If y'all have not, feel free to come and join us, hang out. We're going to play some Elder Scrolls Call to Arms on Thursday, so we will be setting all of that up tomorrow for our members. So yeah, that's all I got for you. I appreciate all y'all sitting around hanging out with me while painting this, and hopefully you got something out of it. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow for our members, and I will see the rest of you on Thursday. Adios.
The power of the dark side.